You know, Devin Haney hasn't done nothing in the sport, bro. He took a guy in Kambosos, which was a nobody. You know what I'm saying? What he beat? He didn't even beat us. And, you know, a sick Teofimo Lopez. He was dying with no air in his lungs. To me, my son is on this. He's undefeated to me. You know what I'm saying?
Teofimo Sr., he gotta be trolling. Ain't no way. He gotta be trolling. Teofimo Lopez Sr. says Devin Haney has not fought anybody. Who he beat? George Kambosos. He was a nobody. But that nobody beat your son. That's what we're going to talk about in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Subscribe. So Teofimo Lopez did an interview with ES News, link in the description, and there's no way he believes what he's saying. For one, if you look at his body language, he's looking all around and shifty-eyed. That's usually an indication of deceit. The fact that he's can't make direct eye contact. If you look at lying and psychological books where they break down traits and signs that people could be maliciously not telling the truth, things like that. There's no way Teofimo Sr. believes what he just said. And you guys heard a snippet. So he basically said Devin, he hasn't done anything in boxing. But Devin Haney became a champion at 140 pounds and has one belt. Your son became a champion at 140 pounds and has one belt. You know, albeit you could argue that, okay, Teofimo beat Josh Taylor, who beat Regis Prograis when they fought in the World Boxing Super Series. Nonetheless, Regis was still a champion when Devin fought him. Now, Devin was also the true undisputed, not like a fake version like Teofimo keeps saying he was undisputed, but there was clearly a dispute with the WBC belt, right? Now, I got to address the other part he said that made absolutely no sense. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you don't miss a thing. He says Devin Haney has done nothing in his career. He beat Kambosos, who was a nobody. How are you going to call somebody a nobody and that quote unquote nobody, George Kambosos, is the guy that defeated you and your son? You know what I mean? So he went against your corner, and Mr. Nobody, aka George Kambosos, dropped your son in the first round and defeated him. And Teofimo's team and everybody affiliated with him, they keep double downing on this whole Teofimo was deathly sick and, you know, near peril and all this type of stuff. But he literally did a backflip after the Kambosos fight. So miss me with that. Unless somebody can explain in medical terms how someone could be on their deathbed in the fight, but they have enough energy to hit a backflip when they're in that much pain and their esophagus has exploded. The other thing is Teofimo, when they declared Kambosos the winner, he stole the mic and was really combative. And he was like, man, I beat him. And he's screaming kind of like Broner did with Pacquiao. The hood know I beat him. I beat Manny Pacquiao. Like he did have one of those moments basically where he declared that he was the true victor. So again, none of this stuff adds up. Your son hit a backflip after a 12-round fight, got better later in the fight because he did drop Kambosos and almost stopped him in round 8 or 9, one of the later rounds. So he actually did better in the back half of the fight. Went 12 rounds with cuts and bruising on his face after getting dropped in the first round, and he hit a backflip. So he did all that and was arguing on the mic about who won the fight. Normally, I would imagine if somebody was in as bad of shape as they're saying, to the point where Teofimo says he talked to 3 doctors and they all are surprised that he's still even here with us. And it's this big Lifetime movie sob story that they're trying to sell us, right? And tell you that Teofimo wasn't himself that night. But we can go through anybody's loss, and I'm sure there's things that they can bring up. Lennox Lewis, when he lost to Hasim Rahman, he could have said, oh, I was jet lagged, because I got to South Africa late, you know? I mean, anyone's going to have a story. That's just kind of common sense. Nobody wants going to want to just take it on the chin, or very seldom, very few people just take it on the chin and just admit that they got beat up. And he's saying my son is basically undefeated. Doesn't even make sense. BoxRec shows, Wikipedia shows, Teofimo's record when he gets announced shows that he lost to George Kambosos. You can't scrub that away just because you want to, Miss Hawkins. So that whole rant from Teo Sr. didn't sound believable. And I told you, I think the Jermaine Ortiz fight is a tough fight. And the crazier that Teofimo and his team talk, the more I can't really know exactly how they're going to behave and how they're going to look in the fight. So Teo's just too much of a wild card. I mean, he's taking shots at Crawford, who a lot of people think Crawford would smoke Teofimo. Let's be real. Plus, Crawford has way more experience, all stoppages at welterweight, right? So I would pick Crawford clearly to beat Teofimo if he were to move up. Not saying I wouldn't watch the fight, but Crawford got to be the favorite there. You know, so you're talking about him, you're talking about Shakur Stevenson, you're talking about Devin Haney. Now your pops are talking about Devin Haney. And, you know, you're trying to minimize what Devin Haney has done in his career and make it, I don't know, look like he hasn't done anything. I just want to see, I think Devin Haney and Teofimo, they should just fight. It's been several years. That's a big fight. I think it's a reasonable fight to make if Teofimo even beats Jermaine Ortiz. Let me know what you guys think, but these comments sound ridiculous from Teo Sr. saying Teo's undefeated and he was sick. You can't just say, oh, someone was sick, so they're basically undefeated. I mean, let that be the case, then every fighter would say, oh, these losses don't count because of X, Y, and Z. Oh, I had pneumonia. Oh, I was sick. Oh, this and that. And the craziest thing that no one else can answer is if all those things were true, like Teofimo was just in such bad shape and esophagus and couldn't breathe and all these things, yet he hit a backflip, yet he's arguing over the decision on the mic and all these kinds of things and exerting unnecessary energy, why didn't he rematch George Kambosos? Instead, he let Devin Haney do it. Devin Haney went over to Australia twice because of the contract, and Devin wasn't even with Top Rank, but literally did a deal with Top Rank, a 3-fight deal, and tackled the Kambosos fight, went over to Australia and firmly beat him the first time, and then beat him even more convincingly the second time. Teo never did that. So why didn't he re-up with George Kambosos and set the record straight like the past greats have done? Sugar Ray Leonard, like guys like Lennox Lewis and Andre Ward. If they had a close fight or it was perceived as controversial, some people were saying they didn't win, or if they actually lost, those guys all went back and avenged that or set the record straight in Ward versus Kovalev 2. You know what I mean? Teofimo didn't. He just moved up to 140 and fought against Pedro Campa. Not the same.